Hi, I'm Jasmine Best. I'm a mixed media artist and I've put together some simple home art decor projects that will really change how you feel about your surroundings and home. For the first project, I have these two really cute chairs I got from Anthropologie a few years back. They have these very distinct floral paintings on them. And for my dining table, I have this naked wood IKEA table that I've always wanted to paint to match the chairs. To start, I first used the Adobe Capture app on my iPad Pro to choose my color palette from the chairs. The app has a feature where you can take a photo of something and it will select about 4 or 5 colors from the photo to make a palette. I then sent the palettes to my local art store and asked them if they had any craft paints in these colors. I also bought sealant to seal the table once the mural is finished. I took measurements of the table and created a file in the Procreate app on my iPad Pro. I then planned out the mural based off of the designs on the chairs. I took the measurements of the table and created a file in Procreate to plan out the designs and colors. For the first layer of the table, I had some leftover white chalk paint, and I tinted it using some of the craft acrylic paint. Now, chalk paint means you don't have to sand the table ahead of time. I don't necessarily recommend using chalk paint specifically, it's just this was the largest amount of white paint I had to use. And the reason I say not to use chalk paint specifically is later on I noticed that the sealant kind of picked up some of the chalk paint. It wasn't too bad, but I just would like to take note of that. I then used a color pencil once the chalk paint was dry to draw out the design. I then went color by color with the craft paint to paint the design out as planned earlier. Once the paint dried, I sealed the table using 2 coats. If you're going to seal the table indoors, make sure to keep plenty of windows open. I recommend, if possible, to seal the table outside where there's plenty of ventilation. Once everything is given the proper amount of time to dry, enjoy your new custom table. This custom lampshade project is super easy. Make sure to use a watercolor that's fabric friendly or an acrylic ink. You'll of course need a plain lampshade or lampshades. Unplug the lamp and remove the lampshades. Be sure to dust it ahead of time. Decide ahead of time on what design or art you want for the lampshade. Try to use something simple so that the light can still shine through the lampshade, especially if the lamp is the dominant source of light in that room. I decided mark making was best. I chose my colors based off my room's decor and decided on simple brushstroke patterns that would match the art on my statement wall. For painting, I'm using Derwent watercolors. I'm using this specific travel set. Derwent watercolors are fabric friendly and will stay on the fabric. It also allows for me to water down the colors to get a more pastel look, but still keep a sort of vibrancy once it's on the off-white fabric. I decided to go with 1 color per lampshade since I'm using a lamp that has multiple lampshades, but feel free to have fun and mix a variety of colors. Once the lampshades are dried, place them back on your lamp, place your bulbs back in, and plug your lamp up. Enjoy your custom lampshades both in the day and night. Custom terracotta pots are probably the easiest project that I'm going to share with you today. You only need 2 things. A terracotta pot and a paint marker, such as a Posca marker, which I'm using here. I'm only using a white Posca marker, but feel free to use whatever variety of colors you like. Then just draw on the pot. It's that simple. You can make fun dots or draw plants or write plant names on them. I'm personally going to trace the water lines left behind from the excess water from my plants. I think tracing the water line gives me a cool, unique, abstract shape. This project is more temporary than the previous ones, but like the terracotta project, it only really needs 1 art supply. You can use a thicker Posca marker than previously used in the terracotta, or you can use what I'm using here. I'm using a thick Eddings marker. It's a chalk marker that can be used on glass, chalkboards, metal, etc. To remove it, you only need water, so if you mess up, you can easily erase it away. And that's why I say this is temporary. This sort of marker is used mainly for storefronts, and they use water to wash it away, so it's considered temporary, though if you like what you have, I guess you could always just reapply it if it starts to wear off or rub off. First, I took measurements of my window and put the dimensions in Procreate so I could plan it out. I first thought to incorporate the grid system of my window and make a bunch of smaller drawings within the boxes, but then decided in favor for something more bold and takes up the whole square of the window as one unit and think of the grid as more smaller parts to help with placement. I wanted something encouraging since this art would affect not only me but my neighbors who would see it from the outside. So I chose 2 flowers with optimistic associations, an iris for faith, and an orchid for beautiful strength. Be sure to clean your window before starting. The reason I planned this project out digitally is so that flipping the image would be simple before I applied it to the window. That way I would know the image would look good both from the inside and the outside of the window. I'm honestly surprised at how much these little changes have affected my mood as I walk around my house. I find far more joy looking at my lampshades and table and windows than I did prior. Well, that's the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like or share with a friend, and subscribe if you're looking for more art content. Well, till next time.